Hello and welcome. Today, let's just talk about books. I don't really have a way to relate this back to MBTI other than to say I'm an ENFP and these are books that I don't think I'm gonna read. As an ENFP, my feelings on this are very subjective, so you can't use this to say all ENFPs would say this. It's just helpful to know that, my personality does inform what I choose, but not really that much. I think more personal preference and what I normally read and what I am looking for when I read have more of a factor than my personality. But let's go ahead and dive in. The video we have today is me talking about the books that I will probably never read. There's no particular hatred towards any of these books. There's nothing that says I will never read them. It's just, I don't see it in my foreseeable future. There are way more interesting books on my list right now, and these books have not done anything to compel me enough to decide to put off the other books that I want to read in order to read them. And I have a feeling that with how many books are written constantly, that list is always going to grow of books that I want to read, and it probably won't include these. That could change, but as of right now, this is my list. So the first prompt on this list, which is actually part of an anti-TBR tag, is what is a popular book everyone loves that you have no interest in reading? A Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. I actually did read A Night Circus. I actually really enjoyed A Night Circus. However, I'm not really into romance in general, and I know it's going to be primarily a romance story, so I just have no real desire to pick it up. I'm sure it's written very beautifully. Erin Morgenstern has wonderful prose, but it's not a book that I have any interest in. What is a classical book or author that you have no interest in reading? People are gonna hate me for my answer on this. Everyone right now, I'm so sorry, but Jane Austen. I read Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, and I loved that. I did try to read Pride and Prejudice on 2 separate occasions and never actually finished it. I really wanted to, I really did. But there's just something about it that doesn't really click with me. Then an author whose books you have no interest in reading. I am also probably going to upset people. If you have a strong, compelling argument, I'm open to hearing it, but as of right now, Patrick Rothfuss is an author that I have no desire to read. First of all, the books look pretty big. I mean, that's a general turnoff. Again, it's not a rule, it's just in general, I put those off. But on top of that, the settings and the premise don't really speak to me in a way that draws me into the story. And the covers also, the titles also, these kinds of things I use to judge whether or not I'm going to enjoy a story. And it's just not it for me. Then we have an author who you've read a couple books of and have decided their books are not for you. This is kind of a cop-out answer, but I will never again read J.K. Rowling, and also Harry Potter's not amazing. It is influential. It is influential to me. It was one of the first fantasy series that I ever read. I have no desire to read any more J.K. Rowling. I don't think that needs any more explanation. Then, what is a genre that you have no interest in, or a genre that you have tried and couldn't get into? That is going to be romance. Romance is just not my favorite genre. I think I could enjoy romance when it's like a secondary factor, or when the world building and the plot are really, really interesting, but I just can't really do just a straight romance because it feels like there's no point in really reading it. Oops. I mean, I'm not a teenage girl anymore. I'm in a long-term relationship and it's just not as interesting to me. Are there exceptions to this? Absolutely, but as a whole, I don't really enjoy the genre. Then, what is a book you bought but will probably never read? I still have it on my shelf, so I should probably unhaul this. Unhaul? That's a terrible word, by the way. I don't like that. I'm gonna give this away at some point because I don't think I'm ever gonna read it. And it is Origin by Dan Brown. You guys know Dan Brown is the author of The Devil's Advocate. No, not Devil's Advocate. This is by the same author who wrote The Da Vinci Code, so you might know this author. And that's actually why I didn't want to read this book, because I found out it's the same character, it's Dr. Langdon. And I know that it's supposed to be a sci-fi rather than like a religious thing, but I believe that religion is still an aspect of this, and I don't really want to read a religious thriller right now, so I'm not sure. I got it not really understanding what it was, because a friend described it to me with the premise, and I was intrigued by that, so I bought the book instantly. And then I got it in my hand and I was looking over it a little bit more, and I saw Dr. Langdon, and I got a little less interested. Then, what is a series that you have no interest in reading? Or one that you started and won't finish? This is one that I just have no interest in reading, and that is Royal Assassin by Robin Hobb, or whatever the series is called. I just have no real desire to read that. It seemed like pacing-wise I wouldn't really like it, and it seemed like character-wise I wouldn't really be into the main character. I don't know. That I could be totally wrong about that. I see that a lot of people like it, and I really like that people are able to enjoy it. It just, the setting, the fact that it's about an assassin, it just doesn't really appeal to me. I'm also going to include Poppy War by Rebecca Kuang. No offense to the story, I've seen so much positive review for it, but I just don't really want to read a book about war. When I see a white book cover, I feel like it's going to be amateur. That's like my immediate assumption, and if I'm going to pick up something that's going to be amateur, I'd rather really want to read it. So, there's that. Finally, what is a new release that you have no interest in reading? Well, I was going to say the Court of Thorns and Roses book / series, the Court of Silver Flames, or whatever it's called. But then I watched a reading vlog with the Irish Reader. I love watching reading vlogs, like watching people's reactions as they read the story. And I'm pretty sure he's an ESFJ, not that it matters, but I really enjoy the way that he reacts to the stories. It's a lot of fun to watch, and I got intrigued by the story because the way he was describing it, it seemed like there were a lot of really cool elements about the world building, so I'm intrigued. Because I can't really pick that now that I'm slightly more intrigued than I was, and I actually might pick up that series, I'm gonna say Gideon the Ninth. Gideon the Ninth is relatively recently released. It's not like an upcoming release. I don't know really what counts under this category, but Gideon the Ninth just seems like it has a vibe that I'm not going to jive with. Like the tone of it just seems like it wouldn't really work for me. I could be totally wrong. I mean, I like the premise of it, and I like the premise of the main character. I've heard reviews about it, and it seems cool, but it just doesn't seem like something I want to read. Because again, at the end of the day, the reason these books are even on this list is because I want to read things that are most intriguing to me. I want to pick the best of the best to read. If I could have all 5-star reads, that would be amazing. I purposely look for books that I think I'm going to enjoy, and I do like to push myself outside of my comfort zone, but I don't want to push myself to a place where I'm going to be bored or I'm going to be demotivated to read, because books that demotivate me to read are depressing because I want to read. That is my list of books I probably won't read, but I may read in the future, so don't take this as the law. This is just what I'm thinking right now at my current place in life, which is 27 years of age, and sitting in this room right now, speaking to you guys right here about what books I probably won't read. And if you want to convince me otherwise, please do so down in the comments. I'm always willing to have my eyes opened to a new perspective. It's just these are my current perspectives. And with that, I think I need to tag some people. So I would like to tag Christy from, oh my gosh, I don't remember her channel title right now, but I will put that image right here. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video and want to see more of me or talk more with me about books, go ahead and like and subscribe. And I hope that you have a beautiful, amazing, fantastic day. Bye!